Muhammad Ali. Now, before I really talk or go into my talk, I got a quick question here. Did anybody go to the boys' basketball game? Okay. It was a good game, right? You have any balls in here? Anybody play? A couple. Okay, let's give it up for them. Give it up. That was a great game. Man. Those guys left it all out on the court. We had any rowdies in here? No rowdies? Oh, man. I wanted a rowdy up in here. Here's why. You know, my first game I went to, rowdies are crazy, ain't they? First game I went to, if y'all see a rowdy, y'all tell me you owe me a cold pop. One of the first games I went to, in the men's or in the boys' side, I'm sitting in the stands, have some nachos, and a cold pop, right? And all of a sudden, right before the game started, of course, the whole section just all of a sudden got crowded. I didn't realize I was sitting real close to the student section. Towards the end of the game, I'm still chilling, you know, enjoy the game. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I believe that we will win! I believe that we will win! I believe that we will win! Drop my pop. Drop the nacho. It scared the mess out of me. But those dudes keep it pumped, so, but you see one of them, y'all point them out to me, alright? Alright, I need a couple volunteers. We're gonna get this thing started. Alright, I'm gonna ask your name anyway. What's your name? Ezekiel. Ezekiel, alright. What's your name? Luke. What's up, Luke? Alright. You like sports?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. You like music?
Yeah.
So I want you to step over here. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. Alright, Luke. Y'all know you from somewhere? No. You didn't try to date one of my daughters, did you? Which one? Alright, here we go. I want you to put this up. Alright? And then I got a question for you. My presentation today is called, it's not about the knockdown, it's about the get up. Now I got my ninja up here. Now I don't want you to be like, you know, sometimes students be like, what's up, my ninja? No, don't say that. I don't want you to get, you know, you might eat your butt. Alright? But this is my ninja right here. And the thing I like about my ninja is no matter, the harder you hit him, what does he do? He gets back up. Go ahead. Pop him upside the head. Don't pop him. Okay. Alright. That was okay. I don't know. That was a little soft. No, I'm just saying. Alright, stand back over here. Thank you. But that's what I like about this ninja right here. No matter how hard you hit him, he just gets back up. Now I had somebody come up one time and they hit him real soft. He's like, ooh. And he didn't get back up. So I had to stand him ninja back up. I said, you gotta really hit him. So, you know, he popped him, whoop, got back up. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. Or today. Here's what I want you to think about. Here's my question for you. Now don't answer yet. You know who Muhammad Ali is? Of course. Okay. Of course. Alright. Alright, so here's what, once I come back to you, you're going to tell us who Muhammad Ali is, what he did, if you know any nicknames that he may have had. Okay? Alright, Zeke. I'm going to call you Zeke. Okay. We're going to play a game called Name That Tune, right? It's a popular game back in my day. On my boombox. Now I know y'all don't know what this is, but this is why being old school is cool. Alright, I'm gonna play a song on my boombox. Z's gonna listen to the song. Then I'm gonna give her an opportunity to name that song. Now I need you guys to listen because if she doesn't know, she's gonna ask for some help. What kind of music you like, Z?
Rap music.
Rock music. Alright. Let me see if I got any rap music here in my boom box. You gotta give it a chance to play, okay? Make sure it's the right song. You can dance if you want to. I'm a pretty good dancer, I guess. Alright. Let's go. Uh-oh. Got it? No? All right. All right, you ready? Yeah. All right. Who is Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali was a famous boxer.
Yeah, well, you asking me.
Yeah. Just telling you.
Oh, okay.
He's a famous boxer.
Okay, what else?
He taught a lot of kids like how to like stand up for yourself.
Okay. You have any nicknames or anything?
I think he was called the Bee or something.
The what?
The Bee?
Okay, say the B. All right, well, he said I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's something he was known for saying, all right? One of the nicknames that he had was the greatest, okay? Let's give it up for my man. A t-shirt for you too. It's not about the knockdown. It's about the what?
Get up.
It's about the get up, all right? Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Give it up for him. All right. One of Muhammad Ali's nicknames is he was known as the greatest. And he actually gave himself that nickname. But here's the deal. Before we can become great at anything, we know you have to go through some things, right? Right?
Right.
Now, I didn't say we got to go through some things. No, I said we got to go through some things, right? But that's when you know I'm serious. It's serious when you say you got to go through some things, right? And Muhammad Ali was no different about boxing. Once Muhammad Ali hit the canvas, the referee stood over Muhammad Ali and he started counting to 10. 1, 2, 3. Here's what Muhammad Ali said. Muhammad Ali said, I sat up, I looked around, and I thought to myself, the canvas is no place for a champion. So he rose to his feet, dusted himself off, made sure he still had all the grills, right? Then he beat Sonny Banks like a pinata. Beat him like my grandma would say, beat him like he stole something. Right? Knocked him out in the third round. Now here's the point. A lot of people that day saw a fight. But here's what I believe happened on that day. I believe that Muhammad Ali proved to the entire world. But more important than that, he proved something to himself. He proved that it's not about the knockdown. It's about the what? It's about the get up. It's about what you do after the knockdown. That is what defines who you are. I know, you guys are looking at me, not, my man up here, he's kind of swole, but, you probably looking at me like, yeah, he probably was a boxer back in his day, right? Nah. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I've had like 3 fights in my life, and my sister won most of those, but here's the deal. Boxer or not, I believe I can say that at some point we all get hit on the blind side. We all get knocked upside the head. By life. So what I'm saying to you is this. Life at some point will be your Sonny Banks, knocking you down flat on your back and daring you to get up and do something about it. Now I don't know any of you, well I know some of you personally, but I don't know any of you what's going on in your personal life. But if I had to guess, I would have to say that there's somebody in here right now going through some things. There's somebody here right now that's in a fight that maybe your friends don't know you're in it. Maybe your mom and dad don't know you're in it. Maybe your Sonny Banks maybe it's the habit of making excuses. Maybe your Sonny Banks is you give up too quick. Maybe your Sonny Banks is somebody that you hang around with. Your Sonny Banks is whatever stands in the way of you and success. It's the obstacles that stand in the way of you and your hopes and your dreams. Now, like you, I faced my own Sonny Banks many times in my life. Let me explain what I mean. something maybe you don't know about me. I was born 2 months premature. When my mom was 7 months pregnant, she was walking up a flight of stairs. And she didn't know this, but a woman she had an argument with was standing above her on a balcony. And she was holding a pot of boiling water. As my mom made her way up those stairs, that woman dumped that water on top of my mom and sent her tumbling back down the stairs and into premature labor. So that's how I came into this world, fighting. And my mom received third-degree burns to over 25% of her body. Barely missed her face, but it covered the entire front of her body. Third-degree burns. As you can imagine, she's in a great deal of pain. Once she was allowed to leave the hospital, or once she and I were allowed to leave the hospital put her on heavy pain medication to help her deal with that pain. But because where that burn was located, she couldn't hold me like a mom would hold a newborn baby. She couldn't nurse me. Something that I've learned is those first few years of a child's life, the strongest connection is created between a mother and her child. We didn't have that opportunity. While she was on that medication, it was so powerful that she couldn't watch me. So I bounced around a lot. I'd stay at my mom's house for a little bit, then she'd send me to my grandmother's house. I stayed at my grandmother's house, I'd stay at a neighbor's house, friends, family, and then I'd go back to my mom's house. I did that for the first 3 years of my life. When I was 3 years old, I was at my mom's house, and I got into her purse, and I found that pain medication that she was taking. Now, you guys know right now, if you were on medication, you gotta tap it, flip it, no secret code just to get it open, right? In the 70s, when I was little, it wasn't that way. You could open a bottle of medication like a package of Tic Tacs. So I got into my mom's purse, I found that medication, I opened the bottle, and I swallowed everything in it at 3 years old. On the way to the hospital, my heart stopped, and eventually I went into a coma. Now, I give this presentation a lot, and sometimes I'll get to this part at an elementary school, right? And a little elementary school, they tell them, save your questions till the end. But in elementary school, little kids, they raise their hand, oh, Miss Humphrey. So I think maybe a little kid got to go to the bathroom or something. So like, hey, what's wrong, little dude? He said, well, I got a question. I said, well, what's your question? He said, Mr. Humphrey, when you was in that coma and you ate that medication, he nervous, twitching. When you ate that medication and you went into a coma, did you live? I'm like, I think so. I hope so, right? But yes, of course, I lived, I survived. But because of that accident, my mom, the state of California determined, they did an investigation and they said it was my mother's fault. So they removed me from my mother's home and I was placed in a foster home. Anyone know what a foster home is? Okay. I was placed in a foster home. Shortly after I arrived to that foster home, my foster mom, her name was Miss Alexander. My foster mom began locking me inside of a closet with no light. She'd open the closet door, she'd kick me, she'd hit me with a stick or a strap, wherever she had, and she would close and lock the door again. It was while I was in that foster home, this is something that I used to be ashamed to stand in front of people and say. But it was while I was in that foster home that I was sexually abused by my foster mom for the first time. And you may think, that's got to be the worst thing that could happen to somebody. And I have scars on my body that you cannot see. I have a burn here on my hand that my foster mom put there with an iron. That's not the worst thing that she did, because this pain went away. The worst thing Miss Alexander would do is she'd open that closet door, she would stand over me, and she would say, you're stupid, and you ain't gonna never amount to nothing. And that hurt me a lot more than any of the beatings because I believed it. For a long time, a number of years, I believed that I would never amount to nothing. I stayed in that foster home for 6 years. I got out when I was 9 years old. I didn't know this, but my grandmother, she was fighting with the state of California trying to prove that she could take care of me. So she had to prove that in her 70s, she was capable of taking care of her grandbaby, right? Now I gotta tell you something about my grandmother, probably one of the toughest women that I know, or that I knew. And she had one rule in her house, and she lived by this one rule. Some of you may have a grandmother like this. But her one rule was, wherever you act up, that's where you're gonna get jacked up, baby. Okay? Now, even though she loved me, what she meant was, you better not be cutting up nowhere. Now, what I believe, even though I wasn't there, I believe she walked into that courtroom, 70 years old, with a Sunday dress on. She probably looked at that judge and she said, you know what? You about to get jacked up. You're going to get my grandbaby, right? But he granted her custody of me. So at 9 years old, I stood on the porch of my foster mom's house. Had my little bag with me. I see a big green Oldsmobile pull up to the corner. It's about as long as this stage. I know some of you got nice rides, right? You know, you can turn it like this. They just turn on the dime, right? My grandma's car didn't turn like that because it's too big. It turned like a ship. You have to turn like this, all in one motion, right? And you need two hands to turn it because it had power steering. Y'all don't know about power steering, but you have to turn it. So I see my grandmother turn that corner. She pull up to the curb. Now my grandmother, she had glaucoma. Everybody all right? My grandma had glaucoma. So she had these big Coke bottle glasses. She wasn't supposed to be driving. Right? But grandma, she was riding dirty. Right? All these big old glasses, she pull up to the curb. And she get out, she had on this big floppy hat with a flower right here on it. She had on the dress because she never wore pants. And she stood there in her Sunday best. And I remember running off that porch. I don't remember my feet ever hitting the ground. But I remember jumping into my grandmother's arms, squeezing her. And I remember her telling me, baby, everything's going to be okay. We got into the hoopty. No seatbelt. Rolling, grandma whipping. She turned the corner that way, I fell over this one. She turned back over, I fall over this one. You slow down, Granny. But we get home, and everything was okay. Probably like some of your grandmothers, she tried to spoil me, even though she didn't have a lot of money. She did the best with what she had. But I began to look forward to something. I found out that my mom was going back and forth to court, trying to regain custody of me. I wasn't allowed to live with my mom. I wasn't allowed to even visit my mom without supervision. So to be close to us, my mom rented a house right behind my grandmother's house. Now, even though I wasn't supposed to go over there, my school was right across the street. I jumped the fence and that's where I went. Huh? In my mama's house, that's right. And I'd sit down with my mom, and I remember having conversations with her talking about, I remember saying, Mama, one day I'm gonna buy you a nice car. Not like grandma's. I'm gonna buy you a nice car. I said, Mama, one day, when I get big, I'm gonna buy you a house with a fireplace. Because all rich people with my mind had fireplaces, right? But really, I just looked forward to becoming a family again. When I was 11 years old, I was asleep on my grandmother's floor. My mom's roommate, it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. My mom's roommate came up to our house and we had a metal screen door. And I remember my mom's roommate banging on that metal screen door, screaming, Miss Howell, Miss Howell, Miss Howell. That was my grandmother. I heard it, but I laid there and pretended like I was still asleep. My mom's roommate said, "Come quick, Miss Howell, come quick, it's Ruth." Ruth was my mom. And the next thing she said really changed my life. She said, "Miss Howell, come quick, it's Ruth, I can't wake her up." She said, "I think she's dead." And that's how I found out that all of the things that I wanted, the one thing that I wanted was to be reunited with my mom. It wasn't going to happen. I was born and raised in South Central LA, 2 blocks from where the Crips started, so it was very easy for me to get into trouble. At the age of 19, I found myself in a courtroom. Had handcuffs on my wrists, had a chain around my waist. Those handcuffs were attached to that chain. My ankles were handcuffed together. I couldn't walk very far. When I go to schools, I see kids, y'all be pimping in the hallway, like, "Yeah, going to class, I'm going to class." Some of them be walking through the skinny jeans on, scooting to class. I couldn't walk like that. But I stood in front of that judge, and he looked at me and he said, "The state of California finds you guilty of armed robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. We sentence you to 15 years in prison." Now, I'll never forget the day the prison doors closed behind me for the first time. It wasn't anything like that show little kids be DVR, scared straight. Those kids be all bad. "You can't do nothing to me." So they know they're going home. But when those doors closed behind me for the first time, things got real. Or as I've heard kids say, ish got real, right? Because I knew I wasn't going home. My knees got weak. I was in the cell all by myself. My legs started shaking. I collapsed and I fell to the cold concrete floor and I just started crying. I remember hearing the voices. I remember hearing the voices of my foster mom saying, "You're stupid. You ain't gonna never amount to nothing." I remember hearing the voices of my family saying, "You're gonna be just like your father." My father was a career criminal. He died in prison. I remember hearing all those voices, and I remember thinking they were right about me. And in my mind, I felt like I was going to die in prison. I began getting into fights. My first year in prison, I spent a good majority of that time in solitary confinement. But here's what happened. Here's what changed my life. I didn't have to do all 15 years, and I did not escape, if you're wondering. But there's a teacher in that prison. His name was Mr. Lyles. I don't know what it was about me. But this teacher, he started talking to me, and he saw something in me. He was from Detroit. Do any of you guys have teachers that you know truly, truly care about you? And not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. You guys have teachers like that? Okay. Mr. Lyles, anytime I got in trouble, he would come down to my cell in solitary confinement. Now there's a door in solitary confinement because you're locked in there 23 hours a day. And there's another little door, and they use that to pass your food through. So Mr. Lyles would come to my cell, and he'd open up that little door, and he'd say, "Hey, Mr. Humphrey." He's always positive. I know people like that, like cheerleaders. Always positive, right? He said, "Mr. Humphrey, what you doing in there?" Like, what the hell do you think I'm doing in here? I ain't doing nothing, right? But he always called me Mr. Humphrey. He gave me that respect. Last time I got in trouble, I got into a fight. Got my face all busted up, had stitches all in my face. I know you can't tell, right? But he came into my cell and he sat down next to me. And a lot of the conversation that we had, I cannot tell you what he said. But here's what I remember. He looked at me and he said, "Mr. Humphrey," he said, "you can do great things. You can get out of here and you can do great things." He got up and started walking away. But before he got to the door, he stopped one last time and he looked at me and he said, "Mr. Humphrey," he said, "I believe in you." If he had continued to stand there, he would have seen tears running down my face because no one had ever said that to me before. I had never heard something like that. I believe in you, something so simple. But that's really what changed my life. Almost 4 years after I collapsed and fell to that floor, I stood in front of a parole board. They were going to decide whether or not I could get out early. He said, "Mr. Humphrey, why are you in prison?" I said, "I'm in prison because somebody snitched on me." Right? Which is ridiculous. Because, of course, later on I realized that wasn't what got me in trouble. What got me in trouble was my own decisions, my own bad choices. If I put out a calendar right now, and one of those calendars said yesterday, and the other calendar says tomorrow, if you look at yesterday's calendar, it's already done. It's over with. What can you change? That's the question. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If you look at tomorrow's calendar, it's wide open. You can write down all of the things that you want to have happen. And then when tomorrow comes, when you get up, it's up to you to make sure that those things happen. And if they don't happen, whose fault is it? It's yours. Right? One of the hardest things, or let me tell you, the easiest thing that I've ever done. One of the easiest things that I've ever done is blame everybody else for my problems. I blame my father. I blame the state of California. I blame my friends. I blame everybody else. The hardest thing that I've ever had to do was to look myself in the mirror and say, "This is your fault." In my prison cell, there was a stainless steel mirror, and it was bolted to the wall. And you could barely see your reflection. But I had to look myself in that mirror and say, you got to change this. You did this, and only you can change it. Second, you got to take some chances, right? You have to take some chances. What taking chances means, it means stepping outside of your comfort zone. You really got to stretch yourself. Because things that come to you easy, they're just that, they're easy. But when you talk about stepping outside of your comfort zone, that's facing your deepest fear. So it's overcoming certain obstacles and fear that you have to go through that fear in order to achieve the things that you want. Let's play this video.
The cool tats, man.
Oh, for real? Thanks, bro. You see the Cobra?
And what is this one?
Oh, this? That's my credo. No regrets.
You have no regrets?
Nope.
Like not even a single letter?
No way. Nah.
It's about no regrets, right? It's about taking some chances. So when you look back, you have no regrets. Now, let me explain something. If Scotty P came to my house, he'd have some regrets. Gotta kick his little butt, right? But when I talk about no regrets, is leaving it, is going all in, 100%. Taking some chances. For me, the biggest chance that I had to take, one was trusting Mr. Lyles. Growing up, I didn't trust people. But it required me to trust him and believe that he had my best interests at heart. You have to trust someone. With whatever it is you're going through, you have to take a chance and trust and believe that there's somebody that you can talk to and that you can confide in. Another chance that I had to take was moving here to Colorado. I'm from LA. I'd never been out of the state. Had never been to Colorado. After I got out of prison, I was lucky enough to find a job making pizza. I was working, I was a dough master at Pizza Hut. I was making my dough. It's covered in flour, pizza sauce. And my partner called me. He said, he called me, answered my phone, he's like, "What you doing?" Look at myself covered in pizza sauce, but I was like, "Nothing." Right? He said, "I think I can get you a job out here in Colorado." I was like, "For real?" He said, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay." I was making like $5.15 an hour. I was only working 3 hours a day. But I saved up enough money to buy two things. I bought a one-way plane ticket. The reason why I bought a one-way plane ticket is because I didn't want the option of going back. I had to go all in. So I got to do this. There's no going back. Second thing I bought a winter coat because it was December. I went to the mall. I bought the biggest coat I could find because I had never seen snow before. Now, the first time in California, it started hailing, right? So I was like, oh snap, it's snowing. I ran outside, making me some snowballs. My father's walking, I'm like, ah! And what did he do? You know, it hurt. I was like, man, this snow is whack. It's not cool. But I bought the biggest winter coat I could find. And if you had been in the airport that day, over 18 years ago, when I got there, you'd have seen me walking through the airport, like a black snowman. I turned like this. I had on shirts, sweaters, and that big coat. I had on pants, sweats, socks. But when I got here, I got off the plane, walking through DIA, it was like 65 degrees. I'm like, it's not what I was expecting. I'm sweating. My partner had to help me take that dumb coat off. But I had to take a chance. And I had to make it work. And I've been here ever since. But you have to take some chances. Was I afraid? Absolutely. Was I uncomfortable? Absolutely. But it was the best choice that I made. So take some chances. And this one right here, this is one of the most important steps, or one of the most important decisions that I had to make. Because sometimes, not everybody you hang out with can have your best interests at heart. Now I'm going to change this just a little bit to make sure that y'all understand what I'm saying here, okay? Not only you got to check your crew, you got to check your squad, right? Hashtag that. You got to check your squad, right? You got to take inventory of the people you hang around with. Because again, I'm going to say it again, not everyone that claims to be your friend is really your friend. Now let me give you an example of what hanging around with the bad people, or hanging around or not taking inventory of the people that you hang around with can do. Let's say I'm taking a walk, right? I'm taking a walk. You know, I'm pimping, right? I'm just carrying it. I'm walking with my grandma, right? But I don't want my homeboys to see me walking with grandma, right? So I'm gonna walk up a little bit ahead. Grandma back there, she's just walking slow, right? That just worked with me here. It's snowing outside. There's some black ice up there. Grandma see it, so she like going up ahead. So I'm leaving grandma. What happened? What's gonna happen when I get to the black ice? What's that? I'm gonna slip and fall. Now what would happen if grandma was walking right next to me? What would I do when I slip and fall? Go ahead, say it. I'm gonna grab grandma, right? And grandma coming with me, right? But here's what grandma knows. Grandma saw the black ice. She knew I didn't want to be seen with her, so she said, you know what? I gotta create some distance. Because when he falls, I don't want him to take me with him. He going up ahead, baby. Right? She had to create some distance. So my point is, sometimes when you hang out with the wrong people, when they go down, they're going to take you with them. You're going to grab on and they just take you right on with them. So what I'm saying is, you got to be like grandma and create some what? Some distance. You got to be like grandma, create some distance. That kind of sounds like a song. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split this up from here over to that side and here to this side, okay? This side right here, we're going to say, be like grandma. This side right here, we're going to say, create some distance. All right? Y'all with me? All right, let's try it out.
Be like grandma. Be like grandma. Create some distance. Be like grandma. Create some distance. Be like grandma. Create some distance. Be like grandma. Create some distance.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. We got to put this to some music. We need a beat. Now, I don't have a lot of music on here, so I'm going to see what we come up with. Uh-oh. All right. Y'all ready? This side, we're going to be like grandma. This side, we're going to create some distance. Y'all ready? Come on now. Create some distance, right? I might have to cut that out. But next step is you got to talk to yourself. Now I'm from LA. I see, growing up, I used to see a lot of people talk to themselves. It's kind of cool for Cocoa Puffs. That's not the kind of talk to yourself I'm talking about. Because I believe that if you say something to yourself enough times, whether it's positive or negative, sooner or later you'll believe it. Once you believe it, you'll set out to prove it. So I need a couple volunteers. Come on now. Peach shirt back there, my man right here. Hustle down, I'm running out of time. Let's get up for him. Oh, she's coming up. What's your name? Nick. What's up, Nick? What grade you in, Nick? Senior. All right. Class 2015. What's your name? Emily, I'm Emily. All right, bring it in here. All right, we're going to play a game. Okay? Muhammad Ali, people said he was cocky because he used to talk a lot. He talked a lot of trash to his opponents. So they said he's cocky, he talked too much, they didn't like him. But here's what I believe. I believe that when Muhammad Ali was talking, he wasn't speaking to the media. I don't believe he was speaking to his opponent. I believe he was talking to himself. Because he knew that once he convinced himself he could win, he knew that he was going to be unbeatable. So here's what I'm going to do. I got some actual Muhammad Ali quotes here. We'll have round 1, 4 rounds. You're going to read the quote. All right? Ready? Yes. All right. Now, one thing is Muhammad Ali said everything with power and conviction. With power and conviction. So you got to say power and conviction. Okay? If he was eating grits, he wouldn't say, yeah, I'm just eating some grits. He'd be like, I'm eating grits. Right? Power and conviction. All right? Ready? All right, there's the first one. Take it.
I'm a bad woman. All right. I'm a bad woman.
All right.
Okay.
All right. It's a battle, man. Now, come on, Nick.
I'm young, pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
Go smart.
I'm the greatest.
It's not bragging if you can back it up.
All right. He said it's not bragging if you can back it up. Let's give it up for him. Give them each a t-shirt. It's not about the knockdown. It's about to get up. After the next session or later on after school, if you buy a t-shirt, I'll give you a signed copy of my book. There you go. Let's give it up for him. So you have to talk to yourself. Ladies, you can't wait for a dude to tell you you're pretty. You tell yourself, I'm pretty. I'm fine. Right? Wait for some dude to tell you that. You tell yourself. Fellas, the same thing. I'm swole. All right? All right, last step is you got to refuse to quit. It was over 18 years ago, I walked out of that prison. I said I've never been back other than to visit somebody else or mentor someone else. But there were a lot of days when I felt like giving up. There's going to be days like that. But you have to refuse to quit. I like to use ordinary people as examples of refusing to quit, because I believe that we're all ordinary people, but we're capable of extraordinary things. Right here, this is my girl, Cha Cha Soon. Right? Now here's a couple facts about my homegirl right here. She took the driver's test 960 times. Somebody in here on their 90th time sound like it. Alright? And failed that mug. Failed it. But her vision, her dream was she needed her driver's license because she had her own business. So she was pulling a cart around. She figured if I could get my driver's license, then I can roll, right? So guess what happened on the 961st time?
She did it.
She passed that mug. Why do you think she's grinning like that? Holding her driver's license. Like, yeah, boy. Right? Now instead of walking, she rolling like my grandma. Right? But she refused to quit. If she had quit on the 960th time, she'd still be walking. Right? Second example that I like to use is my man right here. Coach Carl, Ken Meek. I didn't say that, oops. But that's Ken Meeks. In this picture, Ken Meek is 72 years old. But he was out in his driveway shooting free throws when he started getting hot, started making his shots. Now years earlier, he'd been kicked out of college for playing a prank on his coach when they kicked him out. But his dream was to play college hoops. So that day in his driveway, he began to think. Something tapped him on his shoulder. What tapped him, I believe, was regrets. So I believe regrets are the ghosts of the dreams that you let die. He started getting hot, started thinking, you know what, maybe I can still play. He went inside, found his wife, and said, baby, I think I still got it. She's like, what, got what, milk? Right? He said, no, I think I still play ball. So he started applying for colleges. And his wife said he was crazy. But once she saw he was serious, she sat down and she started helping him. He wrote to 6 colleges. Guess what 5 of them said? No. He said, heck no. You must be doing something. But sometimes we only need that one chance. But we got to be ready for it when we get it. Rowan State, they said, come on down. We'll give you a shot. He went down. Not only did he make the team, he got into a basketball game. Driving to the hole, 70-some odd years old. He probably went about this fast too. Went to shoot it, got fouled. I don't know who has to foul a 70-year-old man, but they fouled. He stood at the free throw line. Knees wobbling, probably shaking. Right? Eyesight wasn't what it used to be, but he had a vision. And his vision was 20/20. See, vision is what you see when your eyes are closed. He stood at that free throw line. He made both of his free throws, and he became the oldest man to ever score in a college basketball game because he refused to quit.
How'd you meet your wife?
Oh, Lord, here we go. My wife, she bumped into me, right? She dropped this piece of paper. She's like, I think you dropped this. And they had her phone number on. I'm just playing. Actually, that's what I did. I met my wife in Fort Collins. We actually were dancing. I was cutting the rug. And we kept bumping into each other. And finally, I was like, why don't you just dance with a brother? And shortly after that,